everyone, it's Lynette with Charm Grammy Crochet. How are you doing today? Today is Thursday. I know it's Tile of the Week Thursday. We'll get into that. But I want to welcome you into the dining room. I was going to film upstairs in the yarn room, but Roy's taking a nap and I don't want to wake him. So we're in the dining room. Good to be flexible, right? It's been a few since I did a video. I know I've got a lot going on. I worked a lot, back to work, and I worked a lot. So crochet time, video making time has decreased. And I did not have time to make my tile of the week. I feel really bad because it's a beautiful tile. And the tile I'm talking about are tiles from this 100 Crochet Tiles book that is doing a tile a week and presenting it on Thursday, therefore Tile of the Week Thursday, is the brainchild of Sam from Manfla's Makes Sam. And I committed to doing as many as I can do. And I really wanted to do this one because it's really pretty. And let me show it to you. Ooh. Wait, it's the Calypso. Wait a minute, did I lose it? Yep, here it is. Here it is. I have it marked. Look at the stitch marker, or the page marker. Isn't that awesome? It's an elephant. See if you look at it that way. It's a paper clip. Anyway, this is the tile that was to be done this week. I totally love it, and I want to make it. And I want to make a bag out of it. I've seen it made, not in person, but it's a good size tile. So that would be one that I might want to try to turn into a bag, because I'm into doing that this year for some reason. And this is the one for next week. Will I get them done? I don't know. But I'm not going to continue on until I make this one. And then, you know, eventually we'll try to catch up, or I'll do as many of them as I can. But I really liked the first one, the one for this week, which was called Calypso, the pink one. And the one for next week is called Compass Rose. And I really like that one too. They're in a section of the book that I like all the tiles. I guess they call them tiles because not all of them are necessarily square. We get to a section of the book where they are not square. I'm trying to see if I can quickly find one. No, of course not. Here we go. Not square. So I don't know what you do with those. Anyway, I did want to do the tile of the week, but one of the reasons that I did not get to the tile of the week is because, you know, my granddaughter Chloe said, Grammy, can you make me this bag? And I think I showed it to you in a picture in my last video that wasn't my Hobie videos. And it's just granny squares. And I thought, oh, maybe I could make some of these tiles that are in the book that I didn't make. Maybe they'd be small and I could make them into a granny square, you know, a square bag, tile bag. The bag that she showed me in a picture, and maybe I'll get it back up in here, was like 9 squares on a side, and it was squares, and that's specifically what she asked for. So I want to make her that first, and then if I show her other bags, she might like those too. I don't know. So I have one side of it finished. So this is my tile of the week. Can we go with that? I did 9 on this side, and I have 3 completed for the other side. I really like them. I was going to do this in, and I think when the last time I made a video and talked about it, I showed, let me just show you. I did start a tile. I don't even know if I completed it. Nope, didn't complete it. But it's all knotted up here. In the Comfy Cotton from Lion Brand. And I really like it. And so I think I'm still going to do this. And I'm going to do it with the gray that I have, and this is like a driftwood and a cream. I think I am still going to do it, and I'm still going to use those colors. And so I kept it in a bag, in a project bag, because I like the square. The squares are easy. Granny squares are, you know, I mean, it's very brainless. I could take this to work really easily. And so I'm real excited about doing that and making this. So what am I using? It's in my go bag. I am using, I love this cotton in the color mint. I'm using I love this cotton in the color pale denim. And these are Hobby Lobby yarns. And I'm using I love this cotton in the color 2 pink. And then I am using three different colors of Comfy Cotton Blend, and it's got that shiny little metallic strip in there. And this one is called Gray. This is the outside color on all of them, and this will be the color that I make the handle out of, and I'm joining with when I did the join. And I did do a single crochet join, so it gives you the lines, because that's the way the bag was put together that she sent me the picture of. So I did that. So I'm using the gray. And then I have a blue and a yellow. The blue color is called Ice Blue. And the other color is the lemon drop is the yellow. And so what I decided to do for the squares, and, you know, as far as the pattern goes, let me get these yarns put back away before they end up on the floor, is I'm doing the center and the 4th row in the same color, and then any of the other colors except for the gray in the other 2 rows. So I'm just grabbing one and putting it in the 2nd and 3rd row, and then the 5th row is the gray on all of them. So they have the continuity of, they all have the center and the 4th row of the same color, and the gray is the last, oops, I guess I'm showing in the back. The gray is the last color in the combination. And so it gives them, I mean, they're different, but yet they do have a quality in all of them that matches. Oh, that is the back, because here's the, and I kind of like it. And then she wants me to line it, obviously, because it's got all these holes. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I do have other projects that I've been needing to line, including the other bag that isn't done yet, but that I'm going to put the wooden handles on. So there's that. And I figure when I get this done, maybe I have a pillow that I need to make to go with a blanket that I made last year. And so I think I will get out the sewing machine, and maybe I'll finish it in the Comfy Cotton, finish one in the Comfy Cotton, and then get out my sewing machine, because that's really going to be kind of a pain in the rear end to get out my sewing machine. I don't have a spot for it specifically, so I can't just leave it out unless I got another table or something to put it on, and maybe I could put it where I keep my scrap stash in that area that used to be my yarn room way back when. And I've thought about that because there's several things I want to make that will require sewing on an actual machine. But I'm afraid if I do that and set it up permanently, and there are 3 sewing machines in this house, one of which I barely know how to use, the other 2, not a clue. They came from my mom's house, and I would imagine, you know, you plug it in and put some thread in there and hit the button, right? Yeah. So if I pull one out, probably I will pull out the one that I kind of know how to use. I still have to get out the book every time. I mean, I pull it out once every 2 years. So when I do that, I have to like read how to make it work. But I'm like, I see Debbie and Billy, and Debbie's doing some really cool stuff, and Billy's a fantastic sewer, and Ella from No Kitchen Name, I at Debbie the Canadian Crocheter, Billy the Crafty Floridian, and I'm like, that looks like fun. Debbie's so creative with trying new things, and she makes me want to try all those new things. And sewing is like kind of new for me. I have sewn before. It's just not, I didn't enjoy it, but I made a quilt. I have made some clothing, some like gauchos back in the 80s or 90s, where those were popular. But bags seem pretty simple. I mean, I don't think that's, you know, I wouldn't do a box bottom. That would be way too creative for me. Just like, you know, sew the two panels together and put a string through them. That's what I'm going to do with these. So we'll see how it goes and when it goes. But I know I'm putting it off. I can see that in my head already. That's all right. So that's been taking up some of my time. I did work on my Sophie's universe. Not a lot, but I did get 2 rows on. So I got part 2, this green and the purple put into it. That didn't take too long. And then I just, you know, you can only do is what you can do. So I am still on part 2. I have it marked in my book. Oh, it doesn't give you a very good picture of what part 2 is. Maybe it does at the end of part 2. What your whole blanket should be looking at like. Not a whole lot. But I guess around 15 is the end of part 2, and that's what it'll look like. I don't know if I mixed up my purples and I put the dark purple as the Moors, and maybe that isn't supposed to be the darkest purple. In mine it is. And then I'm going to a lighter purple to go here. That will be the next step. That's the way mine's going. I like it. This is purple. I mean, it might look black to you guys, but it really is a very deep purple. And I love that purple. A deep purple. But the color that's the purple that I'm going to put in next, which is way over on the other side of the room, is probably my favorite shade of purple. So we'll see that next time. What else did I do? I did, as promised, put my lifeline in on my knit blanket. That took about 4 minutes, and that's all I did to it, because I had other projects. But I do want to work on that this weekend, and I start on row 16, and that's where we're going to do, I think you like knit 1 and purl 1, knit 1 and purl 1, and the border starts on the ends. I just got out of the shower and my hair isn't all the way dry, so I couldn't straighten it yet. It drives me crazy when it's all like this. But as far as the knit blanket goes, I think I was with the, what's that, the garter stitch? I was really liking that stitch, and that was like almost brainless after a while. I love brainless. This I'm going to have to pay attention to because I'm going to forget where I am. So probably 2 rows a week. Like, I'm going to sit down and like have to really pull out my book and some YouTube tutorials and figure out what I'm doing. And from this point on, it'll be, I'll do 1 row that way and 1 row back, and then I'll be like, okay, that's enough. And make sure I count, right? So I also am doing a hashtag yarn vacation AU, and I was going to do granny squares, and you know, I was getting tired of granny squares, and then Chloe asked me about I'm like, okay, I'm not doing granny squares. I made the first one red for that place in the UK that starts with an L, Lancashire, I'm not sure. I don't remember. I just know that the flower was a red rose, which is one of my favorites. And I made the granny square. And then I decided I think I'm doing it wrong because I didn't like start in Ohio and then go to pick up Judy. And I really didn't want to do granny squares. My heart wasn't in it. So I decided to do this pattern by Fiber Spider, and I cannot remember the name of it, but it will be linked in the description box. And so I started with Ohio. I live in the greater Cleveland area, so we've got the Cleveland Browns. Brown, orange, and white are their colors. And so that's what we got there, brown, orange, and white. They have gone recently, in the last couple of years, to a very dark brown, almost looks black. I'm trying to use scraps whenever possible. I do not have a brown as dark as what they go with nowadays. I don't think at all in my stash. So we use scraps. So if this color looks familiar, think Terry Bear. So yeah, this is Terry Bear's brown. This is some scrap orange, and I wanted a white, not an off-white or a cream white or whatever, and I did not have a little bit of that, so I used, and I love the Just Yarn. This is a Just Yarn from the Dollar Tree. Those are really nice little, I think it's a nice yarn. I haven't been in Dollar Tree for a while, so I don't know if they still sell it, but it's not a bad yarn, and it's cheap, and you get, what, I don't know, a little over 100 yards in a little skein, but it's perfect for a scrap size blanket, you know, to add in if you need to, without opening up a big skein of yarn. And it fit very well in my bag, so I liked that too. Then I went to the blue. This is Urban Chic, and I don't remember the color, but this is the blue of the ocean, because Judy from Witch Piece Crafts lives in Australia by the coral reef, so I went with that, because all these blues in there remind me of the ocean. Then we went from there, we picked up Judy, then we went to that place in England that I can't remember the name of, but their flower is the red rose, so I chose that, and then we are off to Ireland. And Ireland, when I think of Ireland, I mean, yeah, the leprechauns, and but the castles and the cliffs and lush greenery. And funny, cute little story, on my computer, as the day that one of the days that I was working on this, which I only worked on it like a day and a half for the to make, I'm doing 7 rows per city or state or per visit, and this picture pops up, and it's a castle on the edge of the ocean and the whole, you know, green hills, and it was in Ireland. I'm like, oh my gosh. Not that I've seen that in person, but it did pop up on my computer. So I used, this is actually off-white, antique white, I think is what the white is called. So you've got the cliff, and then you've got the lush greenery, and then you've got the brick made from the cliff rocks of the castle. So that's what I did for that. Now I'm all caught up. I just have to send her in a picture of my all caught upness. And what did I use? This was a scrap. I do believe this is, oh wait, you know what? It is a Red Heart Super Saver, and it's all folded up inside this other scrap. It was something I had made and taken apart years ago, and all just became in scraps. And then the off-white is Karen 1 pound. And this is what I still have left of that. We do not, all the hashtags that we have going around, there is not one for scraps. I don't think they came up with a scrap hashtag. I'm gonna have to double check that, because everything has a freaking hashtag. But I think the scraps, and I have a lot of scraps to use apparently, because the next whatever, I'm gonna go to my scraps first. And see if I find enough to do 7 rows for that city, for that vacation spot. And this bag is a bag I got from Hobie, and that's what my hashtag yarn vacation is living in. My Sophie's universe is living in a tub. The tile of the week is not living in anything. Um, excuse me. Chloe's bag right now is in this bag that was gifted to me. That's my go bag that I totally love, and it's wearing out. And then finally, what I did spend a lot of time working on this past week is my Hobie project, hashtag no shades of gray. And if you haven't seen the tutorials, oh, there's my glasses. I was looking for those. What are they? This is living in my Pioneer Woman basket that I got that was gifted to me with my Christmas gifts from Nancy from She's Got Yarn Too. Let's see. So this is what it's looking like so far. I do have the teal. I just have a little bit left for the first row of the teal color going in. I did put a little bit of the wasabi green in the front with the teal here. I didn't really put much of that in anywhere else. I think I'm just going to kind of mostly go with the solid colors now. I do have that I wanted to throw in a little bit of this just because I love the color. And I know it's not really part of the ocean, but this is coral reef. So you might get some flamingos out there. Who knows? It's my top. I can put whatever color I want to in it. But you know, it's a reflection. I don't know. I love the color and I want to add some. Maybe just a little. So anyway, I don't have the trim around the neckline done yet, and I obviously don't have anything done with the sleeves. The armholes, I've been told, might be a little too big for me. We'll see. I could sew it up more. Nobody would know the difference, and make them smaller. And that's fine. And it's a work in progress as I go kind of thing. And it is now long enough. There were 28 rows of white, and so then that would be 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. So I have 37 rows of V-stitches for the top part of my shirt. And then the skirting has 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm working on the 5th row of the waves of the ocean. And row 5 does come like right at the edge of the bottom of my bum. I still have to add in the bright blue, this color right here. And I'm using Hobie Twister Solid on all of this. So I'm going to do a couple more. Probably need to add this many more rows, but I'm making it less wide as it goes. I don't know if you can tell. It's hard to tell, but there is a opening in the front, and then I think I will trim it in white, just a little white border to make everything fit inside. I don't know. So that's where that is, and that has been. It's a thin yarn. It says it's a number 2. It is a thin yarn. After I've worked with this yarn for a while, then I go and make something out of it. I went to work on the vacation blanket. I felt like I was using a 6-weight yarn. I'm like, wow, this thing feels so thick. And I'm using a number 4 hook on this on this top. My No Shades of Gray. I really haven't named it, but I am doing a demonstration on how I made it, because you make it to fit yourself. And I'm really not a pattern writer, and I'm working on it as I go. So I did do demonstrations on how to do the top, and now as I have added to the skirting, I've showed you how to make the skirting, and now I've actually been working on the skirting on the video that's coming out on Friday, or on Monday. I'm actually working on the skirting on this actual top. So it's kind of been creating it as I go and showing you what I've done, and hopefully you can follow that if you want to make this. It's been fun. I've been enjoying the process. Cross your fingers that it all turns out good. I mean, it's yarn, right? It'll work out. And I haven't, the sleeves, I'm still debating on how I want to do those. I think I do want a little bit of a sleeve. And I think in order to look cohesive, somebody had said, you know, since I'm doing the ocean and I've got the waves, I should do a shell stitch for the sleeves, which I think would be really cool. But I think it would be too much. I think it needs to have maybe some V's and then a little bit of like a row or two, and then a tighter sleeve so you can puff it a little maybe, or bell it out. I don't know, maybe a bell, and just have it free flowing, because it is water. It should be free flowing, right? We'll see how that goes. So that's what I've gotten done in the last, I don't know, since the last video that wasn't, you know, the Hobie video on Monday, my Make Along Monday. I will get as much done as I can, as fast as I can, and I know there's some hashtags I've not been able to keep up with, but I'll get back to them. I haven't done anything that is, you know, I haven't left behind anything that is time sensitive. So, except the Hobie, that's the only thing I have that's time sensitive, and I've been working on that. So that's what counts. And I'll get done and caught up as when I can. I'm real anxious for the Luck of the Draw to start. That's Nan's next nuts, Luck of the Draw 7. I have yarn picked out, but it's upstairs, and a pattern picked out to make some Boggy Creek blankets. But I'm not sure if I want to make, I was thinking 2 Boggy Creek blankets. I could probably figure it out enough that I could do, you know, 2 blankets in 20 weeks, so 10 weeks in 10 weeks. Just make sure that each week the color combination is big enough that it could be 40 inches, let's see, 35 inches, 35 to 40 inches wide, 40 to 50 inches long. So if I'm doing 10 weeks and I have to go 40 to 45 inches, just figure out how many rows that will be. And, you know, make sure that that works. And then make 2 of them to give to Boggy Creek, because I know in 20 weeks it would be a really big blanket, I think, in 20 weeks. So I think 2. But then part of me says, ooh, I want to make something else too. You know, so I don't know. Maybe I'll change my mind before. I think it starts next Thursday. So I have to, I like the yarns that I picked out, so I think I'm going to stick with that. But we'll see. We'll see what I end up doing. Who the heck knows? It could change 10 times between now and then. But anyway, that's all I have for you for this week, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.